I've got a pretty controversial real-life question for you today. Well, at least if you're 18 or a parent. Here we go. Is my mom in the right? She makes me have a curfew, and she said she has the right to be in control of me. I'm 18. Hey, I'm Ann. Y'all ready to chat? This person doesn't say whether or not they're still in high school, and that's kind of an important fact. If they're still in high school, yes, the parent has a right to set a curfew. The parent is paying for everything, the regular bills, the extras, letting them use the car probably, or they bought the car. This kid is in school, he has to get to bed early, even on the weekend. And I'm not saying don't be flexible. For instance, when Aiden, my grandson, was in high school, he had a curfew, and it was 12 a.m. on the weekend. Now, he didn't like it. He felt he should be able to go anywhere and do anything he wanted, but no, he was still under our care. Did he like it? No. Did he follow it? Yes. I think one time he was late and he called me. And I said, all right, I get that you're late. Don't rush, because I'd rather you get home safely than on time. And he walked in the door about 20 after 12. My husband always says, for high school kids, nothing good happens after 12 a.m. So that was his curfew. Now, there are 3 types of ways to handle a curfew. So I want you to think about which one you are. The first one is the strict approach. My house, my rules. And you put the hammer down. This sets you up for some major battles, and you're going to get resistance on it. Big time resistance if they're 18 and out of high school. This can do irreparable damage to your adult child in your relationship. Notice I said adult child. That's because in the eyes of the law, that 18-year-old is deemed responsible for any actions they do, and not you. The 18-year-old is. And keep in mind, they're old enough to go into the armed forces or be drafted into the armed forces. And I'm pretty sure the Marines don't put a curfew on an 18-year-old when they go out on leave. Even if your adult child went to college, they're doing what they want at night at college. They're staying out after what you would call a curfew. You can't take that away from them when they come home. You are going to have problems with this adult child. On the other hand, you worry when they're out late. I get it. So this means you should have a conversation with your adult child, not dictate. The strict approach often results in more headaches and angst than it's actually worth. The second approach is the permissive approach. And that is, you're a grown-up, do whatever you want. This is totally giving up boundaries. And although they are an adult in the eyes of the law, there's still some maturity issues, and a discussion should take place. If you have total permissiveness, you're saying it's okay to do other things as well. It permeates their life. And this is probably not a good thing. Before I get to the third approach, I'd appreciate it if you could give me a thumbs up or share this with somebody else who you think might want it or need it. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And third, the way I suggest is the democratic approach. And I don't mean kumbaya, everyone sit around, hold hands, and smile at each other while you discuss this. I mean express concerns and discuss values. Start with safety. Are they going to be safe when they're out there? About where they're going to be. You don't need to know all the details. It's frankly none of your business at this point. But express to them you are concerned about their safety. Also express the concern of them waking the household up because they're clunking in the middle of the night. Or the fact that you may want to stay up and wait for them. And you'll be up half the night doing that. I think that's a legitimate concern. And I think that's something worth discussing. You also are concerned that if they're out late at night, they're going to sleep in the next morning instead of getting up and doing what they need to do. These are all things that need to be discussed. Once you've discussed all of this, boundaries need to be agreed upon. Now, Aiden is 18 and he lives at home and he goes to college and he works. He's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. He's acting like an adult. So he's treated like an adult. He goes out at night. He does not have a curfew. But one thing, we're setting boundaries that he has to do is text me when he's going to be super late. He doesn't have to give me all the details, but I want to know he's okay late at night when he's outside. And he adheres to that. I'm not going to say every single time. I mean, he's human, he makes mistakes, but pretty much 80% of the time, I'm getting a text from him late at night. You know, I saw a video one time on YouTube and this woman came on and she was talking about her 23-year-old son. And she was saying how she gave him a curfew. In fact, she put a tracking app on his phone. Now we're getting into the ridiculous, and I hope you're not doing that with your 18-year-old, and I'm sure you're not. So what I'm thinking is they don't need a curfew, but they do need boundaries when they're 18 and living at home. What do you think? Do you think an 18-year-old should have a curfew? I'd love to hear in the comments below. So write them down, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for the chat.